Hello, I'm here to explain an informal assessment strategy called the Muddiest point. Let me provide a brief outline of my presentation. First, I'll try to explain what the Muddiest point assessment strategy is all about. Then I'll describe the context in which this strategy could work best. I will give some limitations and advantages of this strategy, explain some best practices, and describe how to provide feedback to learners. What is the Muddiest point strategy? This is an assessment tool that allows the teacher to ask what is the most unclear, most confusing, or most difficult part of the lesson. It's usually asked at the end of a class or a discussion or even a reading assignment. It asks students to give some brief answers to the question, what was the muddiest point in my lecture today? When is this strategy best used? Well, it's well suited for large lower division classes. It should be posed at the end of a lecture or a lesson or a class discussion. It can be used where a large amount of new information is presented each session. And these are the cases where a lot of muddy points can be possibly raised. It's best used sparingly in courses where the emphasis is on integrating, synthesizing, and evaluating information, such as courses like math or statistics, economics, or even health sciences. What are some limitations of the muddiest point strategy? First of all, too much focus is given on what students do not understand, so this is a little bit negative. It can undermine the motivation of both the students and the teacher. It can be disconcerting despite class preparation done by the teacher and best efforts in teaching. It may be difficult for some students to explain or maybe even identify what it is they don't understand. And it's more likely for students to raise difficult questions that the teacher may not sometimes be able to answer. But let's flip the coin and look at the good points. What are some advantages of the muddiest point strategy? First, it's quick, it's simple, it's easy to administer, and it's very effective considering the amount of information one can gather. It doesn't require much planning or preparation or even class time. It helps us focus on deeper understanding and not simply recalling bits of information. It gives the teacher a snapshot of what students didn't really understand. It allows the students to air whatever is not clear to them and help them improve on their learning. This is especially useful for those who are shy or even hesitant to ask questions. It allows them to do some self-assessment, reflection, and deeper thinking, and even make them more responsible learners. Teachers encourage continued involvement and helps them see the material through the students' eyes. And it provides the teachers with new insights and more information to help them improve on their teaching, which topics to emphasize, and how much time to spend on them. What are some best practices of the muddiest point strategy? First, we need to tell students why we are asking this question. We need to explain what use we will make out of these responses. We need to explain to them how this whole activity can improve their learning and can improve our own teaching as well. We need to clarify to them that this whole activity will not be graded. We can even make the responses anonymous by passing out pieces of paper and collecting them with responses using a muddy points collection box. And we also need to tell them how much time they have to give these brief answers. Now that we have the responses, what do? We collect these responses, group them accordingly, maybe according to importance. Read and answer through them quickly, at least perhaps half of them. We need to respond to the students' feedback as soon as possible and close the feedback loop. This means that we can use these responses to restart the discussion or move on to the next topic. We can also explain how this information will help us adjust our teaching and help them improve their learning. In conclusion, what do we need to remember when using the muddiest point strategy? First, teachers do not need to become angry or disappointed when they find out what students don't understand. They don't need to spend too much time on responding to all the muddiest points because of the risk of losing the momentum of the course. And we need to make clear that not all muddiest points can be clarified. In conclusion, the muddiest point strategy is an ongoing, it's a continuous, and it's an integrated assessment strategy that helps make both learning and teaching a shared activity of teachers and students alike. These are the references used for my presentation. Thank you for listening.